Hello? My name is G, and welcome to W.D. Gann's time cycle course. The methods used by W.D. Gann to achieve his stunning success in trading fall into two categories. 1. Planetary time cycles. If you are not familiar with these cycles, watch the previous two videos of the channel. 2. The law of vibration, which is abbreviated as LOV. But what does LOV mean? LOV in the simplest definition is a cycle that works only with numbers and has nothing to do with the longitude of the planets. As we know, all parts of existence have a special vibration. The meaning of vibration is the same concept used in music. As a moving object, the market also vibrates. But the main question here is, how Mr. Gann uses the law of vibration in the market. In the Pythagorean concept of the music of the spheres, the interval between the Earth and the sphere of the fixed stars was considered to be a diapason, the most perfect harmonic interval. The allowing arrangement is most generally accepted for the musical intervals of the planets between the Earth and the sphere of the fixed stars. From the sphere of the Earth to the sphere of the Moon, 1 tone. From the sphere of the Moon to that of Mercury, 1/2 tone. From Mercury to Venus, 1/2. From Venus to the Sun, 1 1/2 tones. From the Sun to Mars, 1 tone. From Mars to Jupiter, 1/2 tone. From Jupiter to Saturn, 1/2 tone. From Saturn to the fixed stars, 1/2 tone. The sum of these intervals equals the 6 whole tones of the octave. Sounds are governed by principles of physics, from the vibration of strings. The study of sound goes back thousands of years to the ancients that invented instruments in order to create music. Vibrations are small oscillation disturbances of the particles in a given body, such as water or a string. Regular vibrations have a defined period, the amount of time it takes to complete a cycle. The note sounded when any key is depressed is said to possess a certain pitch. This related to the principal frequency of vibration of the string associated with that particular key. Frequency is the number of occurrences of a repeating event per unit of time. Frequency is measured in Hertz, which is equal to 1 event per second. Around 550 BC, Pythagoras invented the monochord using a soundboard and a single string draped across a stationary bridge and a movable bridge. By manipulating the location of the movable bridge, he discovered that when the string length was halved, the pitch produced was an octave higher. An octave is the interval between one musical pitch and another with double or half its frequency. For example, if one note has a frequency of 440 Hz, the note 1 octave above is at 880 Hz, and the note 1 octave below is at 220 Hz. The ratio of frequencies of two notes an octave apart is therefore 2:1. It was Pythagoras who first realized that music, at its deepest level, is mathematical in nature. He saw that a musical scale derives from the mapping of certain proportions onto the indefinite continuum of musical pitch. Thus, as observed above, the eighth of a rising succession of notes in any major or minor scale will be found to have exactly twice the frequency of the first, and, sounded together, they are said to be in unison. The interval of pitch represented is called an eighth or octave. Intermediate intervals are similarly described, for example, that between the first and fifth notes is called a fifth. Fun fact: there are 88 keys in a complete piano, of which 52 are white and 36 are black. Also, the number of octaves in these 88 keys is equal to 7 octaves. Within each octave, 8 notes or 7 steps are existent. If you count the seminotes, there are 12 seminotes in each octave. The basis of the analogy is the symmetrical hexagram, Y, constructed from 12 identical equilateral triangular tiles. Central to this figure is the symmetrical hexagon, X, comprising 6 of these elements. The large triangle, T, and the rhombus, R, which are each capable of generating 9 and 8 of these elemental tiles, respectively. Linking these observations with just intonation ratios provided above, we may write Y divided by X equals 2 the eighth, or octave. T divided by X equals 1.5 the fifth. R divided by X equals 1.333 the fourth. Many books have been written about the LOV system. But as a trader, you would be better off if you look for the actual method that Mr. Gann uses. Don't waste your time reading other books, you will find everything you need in Cosmic Secrets by Russell Smith. Answers to all questions about the LOV system are provided in this book. This book is foundation for the method that Mr. Gann uses to predict the market. Without further ado, let's go to the tunnel through the air. If you have watched my previous videos, you know that the number 3 is very important to Mr. Gann. In the Pythagorean gematria system, the name Robert equals to 33. Gematria is the practice of assigning a numerical value to a name, word or phrase by reading it as a number. Now you know which gematria system Mr. Gann used to code the tunnel. But what is so special about 33? On the forward page, Mr. Gann emphasizes that you read the tunnel 3 times. On the same page, he reiterates to read the Bible 3 times. Page 69 is very important. For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. I believe there was a secret meaning in what he said, that the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. I believe that a man who understands the meaning of that has all the power under heaven and earth, as the Bible says he shall have. I believe that that is the key to the interpretation of the future. I am sure I have found it, and know how to apply it. On this page, Mr. Gann again refers to 33. The book, Egg of Columbus, written by George Bayer, is actually dedicated to the subject of octaves and law of vibration. There is a mysterious picture on page 4 of this book. Do you see 3 days and 3 nights? In fact, the meaning of 3 days and 3 nights, or the number 33 in the teachings of Masons, means 3 octaves up and 3 octaves down, which show the structure of a complete octave. Gann mentions the name of Pythagoras only once in tunnel, and that happens on page 191. Pythagoras said, "There are in woman's eyes 2 sorts of tears, the one of grief, the other of deceit." I think that is because there are 2 kinds of men. By referring to men and women in the number 2 twice, does it refer to something? Yes, it can refer to octave. But this is not all. We see that at the end of this page he mentions 3 twice and connects it with music. The number of times the word love is mentioned on this page is equal to 8 times. 8 note in octave. Also, the word lovest is repeated 3 times. Page 191 is important from another aspect. If you calculate the square root of 365, you get a very interesting number. In the 39th chapter of the Tunnel Book and page 392, Gann has chosen a special phrase for the title of the chapter, all letters of which are written in capital letters, Robert Gordon's 7 Days. If we follow the order of the chapter numbers, this chapter should be chapter 34 and not 39, because the total chapters of the Tunnel Book are equal to 36 chapters. Robert Gordon's 7 Days is an LOV cycle. Pythagorean number value for Robert Gordon equals 70. Can you find a Pythagorean numerical value for Robert Gordon's 7 days? What does 7 days means? Let's go back to page 58 of Tunnel. He thought the 9th verse where it says that everything should be burnt with fire 7 years, meant either 7 years of war, or 7 days. He had read where it says, "I will appoint a day for a year, and a year for a day." Therefore, 7 days means 7 years. Now let's put the puzzle pieces together to complete the picture of this LOV cycle. So we know that a year means 365 days. But is it? How many days will be 7 years? Let's assume that 7 years is equal to 2,557 days. Let me be honest, this number is not what Gann intended. 7 years and 3 ascending octaves and 3 descending octaves means a special structure. How to use RG7 LOV cycle to forecast the market? First, you need to get the correct cycle length. Then you need to know the starting point of the cycle. And finally, you should learn the structure of octaves in the same way that Mr. Gann uses. What you see in the picture above is the structure of Robert Gordon's 7-year cycle. Only 8 notes or 7 steps are used in this structure, But the fact is that Mr. Gann uses more notes for the law of vibration. Study this slide very carefully. I'm sure smart people will get plenty of tips. Thank you for bearing with me and watching the video. My name is G, and if you have any questions about the Gann's course, you may contact me via email.